Thank you everybody for tuning into the channel. This is Upland Inside the Game. I am Blood Spirit. I am your host, for lack of a better word. I am going to do a little revise video. The last video that I did was a video that talked about why you shouldn't buy FSA properties, and I agree. I don't think you should buy them. There actually is a few reasons why I don't think you should buy them. One really big reason why you shouldn't buy them, and then I got a few other ones. But the reason why I'm revising it is because one of my big points that I made the last video that I posted up was that the bigger players can't purchase them once you buy them. They can't purchase them from you, and I've discovered that that was incorrect. That the big players can't purchase you from you. But there is a huge misconception out there that they can't. I mean, I've talked to a lot of players that say that that bigger players, they just don't even look at them. So there's a reason why you shouldn't buy them, is because a lot of big players don't think you can purchase these properties. And I'll explain one reason why. When I started playing this game, about my third day in, I decided if I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go up from Uplander to Pro, or if I wanted to stay as an Uplander and do the FSAs. And I got to thinking, well, let me do some research out there, I'm sure, because I wouldn't pay any attention to them because I didn't think that I can buy them. So that is still a really legit reason, just misconception or misbelief, misinformation. And unfortunately, the last video I did spread some of that, and I apologize. I want to give a quick shout out to Upland Analyst, who's been supporting me from the very beginning. He's had my back from, I think he was like my 5th overall subscriber. And then DJ Shorts, you have also, these two gentlemen here have great channels. Check their stuff out. They've got good stuff. I've watched both of their stuff. But they both pointed out that that was incorrect information. So what I did was I actually went and purchased an FSA property from another player, and it allowed me to do it. So it is 100% legitimate. You can purchase it from another player, but I still strongly don't recommend to play with FSA properties. And here's the main reasons why. The biggest issue now is it takes 6 months to sell that property for cash. You have to hold it for 6 months before you can sell it for cash. Okay, that's huge. Any other property, which is, I think, 2 weeks where I'm at, you have to hold it, and then you can turn around and sell it for cash and get money back. And another thing is it takes 2 weeks for you to, you only sell 2 properties a week. That's it. There's a limit. There's a limit on this property, and as long as there's a limit on this property and no limit on the other properties, why would you not do those properties instead? And like on the other video, I'm going to take it down because I just don't want anybody misled. So I'm going to take it down and show you how you can figure the value of the properties and how it makes it work. Here's all of my Chicago property right over here. Where did I want to go? Make it easy. Click this button. Remember, it shows you the borders if you click that button. Scroll up here and know that there is some properties up here. I believe there still are some properties up here that are white. We'll scroll in and I'll show you. I should have had this ready before going. So if you look at these properties, there's some FSAs. Let me see if I can find some single whites, but it's going to work anyways. Click on a white property. Okay? Take that number right there and divide it by that number. If you take that number and divide it by that number, it will show you your standing income per thousand that you're spending in. It will show you what you get for every $1,000 that you spend in. It is, and I did it earlier on quite a few properties up in this area. I don't know exactly where I was, but I did it on multiple earlier. They're almost every single time the exact same number. So they might be a little bit cheaper, but you're still getting the same standing return, which means it doesn't make sense for you to wait 6 months to turn around and sell this for cash, or only be able to sell 2 a week. There's one reason. The biggest reason that I have is it keeps you from getting as much out of the game as you possibly can. Here's what I mean. If you spend $100 to start up, and you need to think of this game as a long-term investment. It is not a short-term get-rich-quick. I'm going to tell you straight up, this is a long-term investment. In any investment, you should at least put $100 in, right? Unless you're going to play it as a game and just toy with it, that's one thing. But if you put $50 into the game to start off with, you're only going to get 25,000 extra upicks. You're going to get 50,000 upicks and an additional 25,000 upicks. If you put $100 into it, you're going to get the maximum amount of upicks. The maximum they will give you on your first purchase is 50,000. That extra 25,000 will be dramatically better for your game in the long run. And you'll be playing with properties that don't have huge limits, like 6 months to return. So I just wanted to revise this and explain why I still feel that. Oh, by the way, I did find one reason why you should buy FSA properties, or that it might be reasonable. And this is given a perfect example of it. For treasure hunting, you want to spread your cities out or your properties out as much as you possibly can, and I'll explain this in another video where I'm going to do treasure hunting, and I'll do that video here real soon. But if you have little areas like this, well, that's not a good example because those are fairly close together. But like over here, I don't have a whole lot of properties over here, and if the treasure is over here, I'm going to want at least a property to get a free send to. Then maybe buy FSA property over here. That would be a good value because you're going to be using that. You probably would never sell it because you need to use that for your treasure hunt, and you'll understand that when I go over the treasure hunting. But that's the only thing that I could think of that would make me want to buy an FSA property is treasure hunting and having that piece that I can go to be able to do a better treasure hunt. But that's it. There's not even that is worth the 25,000 upicks that you would lose by not doing the maximum buy-in for the maximum, well, not the maximum buy-in, but to get the maximum return on your first purchase. So